So this is the latest version of Dynamics AX. Dynamics AX7 as it was codenamed, recently released. And the first thing about AX7 is that we are operating in a web browser. So that really gives us an awful lot of flexibility in terms of how we deliver the system, allowing us to operate this on any web browser, on any type of tablet or device. So just to show you a few things about Dynamics AX7, if we just look across the bar at the top, the first thing that we're going to see is that we've got a search capability here, so we can search for parts of the system such as supplier entry details, and it gives us that pop-up message there, and we can go directly to the menu option. It's really allowing us to actually search without having to realize where things are in menu structures, etc. We have the company identifier that we are currently working in, so long as you've got the right levels of authority there, you can choose different companies or legal entities that you're operating in. You've got a section for alerts where any messages will pop up as you go through the system. As you navigate through, any errors will pop up into that area that you can then review. You've then got a series of settings. So in here, for example, we can go to our options and we can choose perhaps the color scheme that we're working with. So changing the color scheme and also changing the density of the screen. So here we can change the screen size. So this is very useful if we're working with different types of device. Maybe a laptop is more suitable for a denser screen, and a tablet device or something that's touch maybe a bit better if it's larger buttons, etc. So that gives us that capability. If we just look at the body of the main screen, then we've got an area where we can choose the date that we're working in, an area where any alerts or messages or tasks that are assigned to me will appear in this section here. And then we've got these buttons here, and these are all what are called workspaces. So there's a series of different workspaces here that are really focused down onto a particular task. A good example of this might be looking at cost analysis. So if we just drill into that one. So straight away it's showing us that we've got some key performance indicator metrics to the left there. I've then got some more list type information that we see here. So these are low stock terms for the current month. With these, again, I can drill into the different sections, and what that will do, it will bring a pop-up box to the side. We've got, again, charting of the stock valuation over time, and how the balances of our stock are developing in this case for a set period that we can actually define. The next section that we see on here is a series of inbuilt charts. So these are very useful in terms of giving instant visibility, but it allows me to drill in and zoom into the different levels of detail. I can reset the zooms. I can change the content of what I'm seeing, so remove the things that I don't want to see perhaps. But nice and easy to use, built in, ready to go. Scrolling across a little bit more, we see this section called Power BI. So this is where Dynamics AX is very heavily integrated with the Microsoft Power Business Intelligence tools. And what this gives us the capability to do is basically to start to select to add additional content that has been developed or created in the Power BI tool. So straight away it brings up a series of tiles here that I can start to include. So I can tick on the ones that I would like to bring onto my workspace, and straight away they come back. Now with these we can then drill into the content underneath that. So clicking on one of those particular tiles, it's taking us into Power BI, where we can do an awful lot more. We can use all of the business intelligence tools to actually investigate the data and explain how we actually really want to see that and get down to the detail. Back to our workspace, the final section that we've got across here is an area of links. So these again are typically reports or inquiries that we again want on our fingertips while we're doing our cost analysis activities. If I just take you back now to look at a different workspace, so we'll perhaps go into something a little bit more simpler, something a bit like purchase order receipt and follow-up, for example. And straight away, similar sort of layout. We've got the tiles, we've got lists, we've got our links, etc. being displayed in here. But what this will allow me to do is drill into a list of suppliers, for example. So again, just a good example here of the typical sorts of grids. Filtering, yes, we can use fast filtering. Any of the field names or column headings can be used for filtering, and we can also use the filter button to the side here. That will allow us to actually put together a whole series of different filters if we want to, by selecting the information that it is that we want to search on and carry on through there. Now, just to again give you a quick example here, if I was to look for the name Contoso, again, maybe supplier name here, that will filter down that list very quickly for me. But what I can do from there is I can choose the options, and I can say that I want to add this list to my workspace. I can do that either as a tile or as a list. So if I added this as a tile in this case, choose to configure, yeah, happy with that. Okay, that one already exists. So we'll choose this, give it a name, Contoso. Okay, and then if we go back to our previous dashboard and reload that view, back into the workspace, then we've got our suppliers for Contoso listed there. And that will take us directly to that link as well. So that's how we can actually use the system to actually just filter down the content and put that straight onto my dashboard on my workspace so that I've got immediate access to that information. Just remove the filter again, we're back to where we were. Another couple of tools worth mentioning here as well. We've also got the ability to attach documents. So using the attach button here, I can attach any content. This is just an example where I've attached a factory layout, but of course that can be used for any type of content that you want to add. So any notes, any spreadsheets, any documents, any images, videos, etc. can always be added onto the supplier details there. And again, it's a facility that's available throughout the system. Another key tool that we have here as well is the ability to take this information out into Excel. So if we click the little office icon at the top here, you can see that I've got a couple of ways to actually take it out, either to open it in Excel or to literally export it. The difference is here is the export to Excel will literally just take that information out, copy and paste it effectively into a document. The other option that we have to open it in Excel does something a little bit different. So if I say yes, then I'm going to download that and I'll open up Excel. So what this is now doing, it's taking the information that was in the list and it isn't pasting it, it's actually got to maintain a connection back into the system here for the data. So it's called a data connector. So it will go away and pick up that data and bring it in. So it's retrieving the metadata now. And there we go, that's the data brought back. But the data connector that we have here is basically an extension for Excel that allows us to do a lot more interactively with the content from Dynamics AX. So for example, I can refresh this picture. So I can get the latest data from the system and draw it down immediately. That's given me straight away a capability to use Excel effectively as a light reporting tool. Other things that we can do here, of course, we can filter it. We can also use the design button here to bring in extra content. So if I choose that option, it will then say, well, the data here is coming from a vendor table. If I edit that, then it basically will allow me to now choose any additional content that I want to then add into the spreadsheet. As simple as that to do those sort of things. So if I just go back to where we were previously, and the last option that I just wanted to show you here was the ability to publish. So basically we could make changes to this data and then publish this back into AX directly from the spreadsheet using the data connector. Validation, of course, is maintained all throughout that particular process. So that's the connector. Leave that and we're back into our particular views. Another key feature that you have here as well is the use of the task recorder. So if I just use my help option here, you'll see that we've got task guides and we've also got a wiki, what I know is. But this is a great example here where we can actually just say how the task guides are actually guiding us through a particular process. Now a series of these are made available from Microsoft, but you can also very easily record your own as well. So here if we click to create a new warehouse layout, what it will do is it will load the task guide, which basically takes us through step by step the process. These are all the steps involved in it. If I start the task guide, it'll literally say, okay, well the first thing we need to do is go to the stock management setup here. So we navigate across, we'll find the stock management menu, and in there we've got the parameters. Okay, so it knows that I've gone to there now, and it says that the next thing I need to do is click on the locations tab. So I'll click on that. It's guiding me through every step of the way here. I'm going to skip over these just to show you that you can do that. But essentially, we are being navigated with a task guide is taking us through everything we need to do to actually create a new warehouse in this case. If I just stop that one now and we'll take it back a step. Now of course what we can also do is not just use the ones that are created by Microsoft itself. What we can actually also do is use the task recorder to create our own recordings. So here I'm just again choosing the option, what do I want to call it, which is order entry or whatever we have, start that particular process, and if I now go through the options, I'll navigate through to procurement and sourcing, go to all purchase orders. From there, I'll then start to add a new order, choose the supplier, that's fine, click on OK, add some lines, and so on. So basically we've literally gone through a task recording process there to actually record our own tasks in the task guide that we can then take back and play back again afterwards. So very useful in terms of creating a process there that can actually be used as a training guide for all of the people that we're then going to onboard on AX itself. Okay, that was just a little bit of a quick overview into sort of the capabilities of Dynamics AX7.